We have a massive New York Knicks injury update as after Jalen Brunson went down hard against the Milwaukee Bucks, Tom Thibodeau has spoken out on the injury that Jalen Brunson has suffered, any potential time he would miss with a shoulder injury, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and if you guys like the content, make sure to subscribe. It helps me out a ton. 27% of viewers watching this are subscribed. Hope you guys are having a good Monday morning. You're probably watching it then as I'm releasing this around midnight on Monday. Late night Knicks drop, early morning Knicks drop, whatever you want to call it. Let's do this thing. Look, we all love Jalen Marquise Brunson. He's the man. And we saw this image, and it's obviously worrisome. He's icing that shoulder heavily after he went down with an injury against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, if you guys were watching the game, you saw that he came in. You saw that he came back in the game, and he looked phenomenal. The man had one of the best games of his season, looking like the Jalen Brunson we all know and we all love. The man was just downright unstoppable tonight, as he usually is against the Milwaukee Bucks. I went to the game. It was a blast to watch Jalen Brunson play. When he came back in that game from that injury, he didn't even ask Tibbs to sub back in, as you guys saw on TV. He just walked right in, and literally he got a standing ovation. It is insane how loved this guy is. So when he goes down with an injury, people freak out. The Knicks are aware of that. They obviously know that. And taking a look at what was said about Brunson's injury, Tibbs said that Brunson got checked out. He was fine. We'll see how he responds, but he said that he felt fine. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson himself talked about it. It's basically saying that he's going to be all right. And basically, the whole thing was he fell on his shoulder. Very clearly it hurt. He couldn't move part of his arm initially, and that was freaking people out, as it should. When Jalen Brunson goes down, the world kind of gets set on fire because you don't know what's going to happen with Brunson and the future of the New York Knicks. The second Brunson gets slightly injured, people panic. It's just the way it happens to be with a franchise player. We have a franchise superstar. We have one of the best players in the NBA. We want him healthy. That's basically the entirety of it. And look, looking at Jalen Brunson, there was a lot to like from the game tonight, but that injury definitely did scare us. Now look, Jalen Brunson, as I said, he spoke on this as well. We'll make that a little bit bigger. And he said about his injuries, like, guess you're going to have to find out tomorrow when the injury reports come out on his own injury. He was looking down, kind of not really paying attention, but also I don't think that has anything to do with his injury. I think that more has to do with Jalen Brunson just played a phenomenal basketball game and wanted to go hang out with his family. His family goes to the games a lot. They were all there, and it becomes this thing where he doesn't want to talk to the media right now. First of all, he probably wants to watch the Eagles game that's directly behind him because he's a massive Philadelphia Eagles fan. But on top of that, he wants to see the family. He wants to hang out with his kid. He doesn't want to be asked a bunch of questions about the injury. He knows it's going to freak people out. And in typical Jalen Brunson dry humor, he's like, you're going to have to see tomorrow when the injury report comes out. Jalen Brunson is absolutely fine. There'd just be a palpable sadness if Jalen Brunson was not healthy. The locker room would have been way darker. He wouldn't have came out and played, obviously, and certainly that interview when Josh Hart was messing with him. None of that would have happened if Jalen Brunson got seriously hurt. So that's the good news on all this. It does feel like Brunson's completely fine. It feels like he won't deal with an injury, and he didn't look like he was hurt at all before or after the shoulder. I mean, 44 points on the night, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 62% from the field. Jalen Brunson was the epitome of the Brunson burner tonight.
Someone cooked here.
There's been a lot of talk about Jalen Brunson and if he's having as good of a season as he was last year. Let me tell you something. Jalen Brunson is playing just as great as he always does. The reason why people don't feel like that is because we've gotten accustomed to Jalen Brunson. Yeah, he's not having games where he's putting up 50 constantly, but it's the regular season. Brunson understands that, and also the Knicks have more scorers in the starting lineup. They're going to have to figure something out with trades, and we talked about that a bunch, so we really don't have to get into it at all. But they're going to have to figure something out with their bench. Right now with the starters, though, any of them can go off at any given time. Sometimes there's nights where it's just completely Jalen Brunson. Sometimes there's nights that it's not. Tom Thibodeau even talked about this. saying that Jalen Brunson is such a self-made guy. His talents speak for itself. You can't do those things without great talent, but you also have to have the humility that he has. And for him, he just wants to win. That's the most important thing. If Jalen scores 2 points and we win, he's as happy as if he scores 44 and we win. And that's the beauty of his game. He'll adjust to whatever is needed. If he's being double-teamed, he'll just make the plays. If Karl Anthony Towns is it going, or OG is it going, or Mikal, he's going to search them out. And Tibbs is absolutely right. We're just seeing a different version of Jalen Brunson because the Knicks are better. They're a better team. They have more scoring. They have more talent in the starting lineup, and it's leading to less games where we need Jalen Brunson to go for 50. Yes, it's fun when he has these great games, but it's better that he kind of isn't burning out with all these questions about minutes and stuff, and Tom Thibodeau playing these guys heavy minutes. What's good to see is Jalen Brunson knowing kind of not when to pick his battles, but at the same time, like, the guy's aware that what matters is the playoffs and that all the regular season stuff that leads to the playoffs is obviously a huge part of the process. However, he doesn't have to burn himself out. He's very calculated. He's a very calculated player. Jalen Brunson also just wants to win, and he knows how to do that. He's a very smart guy. He knows what he's doing. And I mean, I love the way that this man played tonight. I love the way he has been playing. I don't think there's any cause for concern with Jalen Brunson for people. I understand that people want to see him put up 30 points per game, and his points per game have dropped this season. But look at Karl Anthony Towns. The man is a damn near MVP candidate. Of course, Brunson's points are going to drop when you acquire Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns onto your team. They're two high-level scorers, especially Towns. It's not that surprising. The Knicks are in a great position right now where they're playing a team-oriented game, and that is how teams win the NBA Finals. It's not off one guy, and those solo player heroics are always fun to watch. It doesn't always mean it's cohesive to winning as much as humanly possible. I like this version of Jalen Brunson. I like that we're not burning him out. I like the way that he's playing. We've seen him be a superstar all season long as well. When he has to turn on and be the guy, he's the guy. Like this game against the New Orleans Pelicans when the Knicks were down and Brunson decided, no, we're not losing this game. He lights it right up. He did it against Toronto. Not the last game against Toronto when he had 13. The game that they were in Toronto, he did it. He did it against the Milwaukee Bucks. He was the guy who just had it going. And when Jalen Brunson has it going, he's unstoppable. It's the same thing as last year. There's no reason for fans to be worried about this. I don't think there's any need to worry about Brunson at all. I think he's doing everything right. I think Jalen Brunson has just been phenomenal this season. He should be an all-star starter. The second returns did show that Brunson is likely to he's really gaining on everyone. So there's a good chance he will end up starting in the all-star game, which he fully deserves. He is that good. He deserves to do it. And I truly think that we are going to see Jalen Brunson start in the all-star game and on the season, just to take a look at his numbers. Jalen Brunson is averaging 25 points per game. Mind you, this is before the game against the Bucks. 25 points per game, 3 rebounds, 7.5 assists, shooting 38% from 3, 47% from the field, just doing his thing. I mean, truly one of the best players in the NBA. There's not much more Knicks fans could ask for Jalen Brunson. The man has been an awesome captain. It's just, anytime he touches the ball, MSG gets so electric, and it's so good for the game of basketball. It's so good for New York Knicks fans. Knicks fans deserve it. Jalen Brunson is just fine. He probably, I don't have some insider information on this. I'm going to take a guess from what I know about the New York Knicks and the way the Knicks operate. I'm going to take a guess that he doesn't play tomorrow. If you're considering going to the Knicks-Pistons game, it is cheap, but Jalen Brunson likely is not going to play if you ask me. I think the Knicks would have no problem giving Jalen Brunson a night off on a back-to-back. The Knicks have played a lot recently. It's not the worst idea in the world to let him sit this out and let his shoulder recover. He's also dealing with a calf thing, and he's better from that, but it's not the worst idea to give Jalen Brunson a night off against the Detroit Pistons. Plus, it's a game the Knicks should be able to win. I understand the Pistons are a lot better than they have been in recent years, but the Knicks are they have the third best odds to win the NBA Finals. They can beat the Detroit Pistons. Guys, let me know what you think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.